got life's tough questions for you.
And welcome to Life's Tough Questions, that show where we ask the difficult, interesting, and sometimes just completely ridiculous questions. I'm Rowan. To my left here is Scoops.
Hey there.
To my right is Yuri.
Great to be back.
And we're going to get firing straight on with the questions today. So the first question we have is, would you rather all the floors in your house were 30 centimeters of sand, or all the floors in your house were grass? Now, you cannot remove them and you can't cement over them either. You've got to just leave it on top of what your current floor is. So for me, when I see this, I think I love the feeling of both sand and grass. I like having my shoes off. I like feeling things with my toes. And that, I guess, my biggest problem with both of these, I guess, with the sand gets everywhere. If you ever been to the beach, even after you use the air things, you use water to wash it, there's always still sand. And sand, unlike you might get maybe a bit of mud or dirt from grass, sand gets scratchy as well, I find. So I'm willing to put up with getting a bit of dirt from grass versus getting, like, what do you call those, like granulates? Is that what you call?
Grains?
Little grains of sand in my clothing, in my bed especially. I'm forever brushing even hair off my bed. So sand would drive me crazy. So I'm going to have to say the grass. For me, grass would be what I would prefer to have.
When I read this, I pretty much straight away went to grass because your idea of the sand, it's not only just like a base of sand, it's 30 centimeters of sand. So you're going to like sink into it. Furniture will sink, your tables will be uneven and stuff. I think when I read the grass, I actually imagined like putting green grass. So it's still real grass, but it's trimmed down so fine that it's almost like a slab of, and there's not that much dirt on a putting green or on a golf course. Like that's
unless you suck at golf.
Unless you're leaving mad divots everywhere. Then you would need sand. But yeah, I would go grass too based on that, and I'd try and like, if I could, manicure it down to like almost like a putting green.
Oh yeah. Do you think you have to mow? Do you think the grass will grow?
I would imagine so. It would. It's grass. But.
Yes.
A lawnmower in your house, or you reckon like a shears?
I don't know, actually.
It depends on the size, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like at the angles.
It is.
You'd also want to whippersnip of the skirting boards as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What were you thinking of?
I'm thinking sand's a great deal less maintenance than grass, because otherwise you got to fire up the lawnmower in the house, you got to whippersnip the skirting boards. I don't like the feeling of sand on my feet at all. Not all. I realise that's a pretty unpopular opinion, but sand's going to be a whole lot less maintenance than grass, and I feel like grass is probably going to invite more bugs and shit.
Yeah, I didn't think about bugs or stuff. Like,
I mean, if you've got sand, you're going to get like scorpions and desert shit, but I would imagine. But no.
Camel.
Rats. Yeah, camels. You'll get like camel traders coming through your house.
That could be beneficial.
Yeah.
Merchant trading.
So I mean, I'm trading pretty heavily on the idea that you would eventually, after a number of like decades, get used to the feeling of sand like all the time. But I just feel like it's a lot less maintenance. So yeah, sign me up for sand.
Sign you up for sand. I think when you think about too, like, as horrible it is to think about that, like sand pits and children's playgrounds are full of so much like feces and urine and all that, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that my house is full of feces and urine. Not at all. But
yeah,
I would imagine
but it could be. It's the point you're trying to make.
It could be. But like, I mean, if you spill something, do you then have to clean your sand, or you think you can just brush it over? Like,
how do you
it's like the
sand?
pushy. That's what I'm wondering. How do you clean
Kind
sand?
of like polish it. Like what's it?
It's like the brushing under the rug, but it just fold the sand over itself.
Yeah.
But what about grass? If you
just like rake the sand, I guess.
rake the sand.
Yeah, grass would be pretty easy to clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it just goes into the dirt.
Yeah.
But it feels high maintenance in that sense too.
Yes.
Anyway, we're kind of grassing it.
Yeah.
Grassing it versus sand. 2 against 1.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I'll still take sand.
All right. Well, let's roll on to our second question now. Would you like to take this one from here?
Yeah, sure. I'll read this one out. Would you rather everyone could read your current thought as if they were watching a TV, or your entire life's history or browsing on the... Oh, sorry. Let me start that again. Sorry. Your entire life's history of browsing on the internet was publicly available for all to view. It's like, there's... With the browsing on the internet thing, there's, like, obviously there's quite a few things that pop up to mind there. Like, there's the adult content that someone may search. Also just the embarrassing medical stuff. Like, if you're like, you know, what is this growth on me? Or what is this pimple on me? You know, that sort of thing. I think I'd rather have people see my current thoughts. Yeah, I think I'd pick that based on just browsing history. I look up some pretty strange things sometimes. And that's not and that's not also got anything to do with adult content. Sometimes I just look at some weird shit.
Yeah.
So yes, my current thoughts, I feel like most of the time my current thoughts and what I'm thinking about aren't that explicit. So I probably wouldn't have much issue with people seeing them. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm kind of thinking that with, like you said, that browsing on the internet, like that public availability isn't, I wonder when you say the history, people then can see, like you said, not just adult content or whatever you've been looking up, but even like financial history or something, like people know where you are. Like the kind of things that you keep, like people are like, oh, I don't want people to know about this. You've probably accessed that over the internet. Like the way we store things these days, everything you store pretty much over some form of database over the internet.
Yeah.
So people have access to that. Whereas when I think about my current thoughts, I have enough trouble like structuring my own sentences. I'm trying to catch my own thoughts as I'm saying them most of the time. So I think I'm not...
So you're thinking that the TV would just display like a confused mess of like colours and images with no context?
It's trying to, buffering. It's just got like the buffering.
Yeah, okay,
but
I get you.
that being said, when you think about something maybe that happened to you when you were younger, like, I don't know, maybe, you farted in class, in kindergarten, and then you became fart boy or something like that. As an adult, you'd hope when you grew up, people still don't call you fart boy. You've moved past that.
That's not going to happen.
But
Not at all.
but
have you met like anybody before in your entire life, or what?
well,
No one lets
true.
that
Some
stuff
people
go.
are like, but I think that with some of your history in the past, stuff that you've looked at, people would look at it and that would be like, yeah, I went through a phase, or it was weird, or like you said, I had this rash and I was looking up different stuff.
Yeah.
But if it was my current thoughts, I might be at work saying, gee, I hate that guy, this, that. It would affect your life right now. Whereas instead of people just judging you for what you've kind of looked at, unless it's really illegal stuff or something, I don't know if they can prosecute you, but instead of people kind of judging you, you could lose your job, you could lose your marriage, you could lose, depending on what your current thoughts are. I mean, I have probably negative thoughts about most people every day. It's hard to walk out your door without having negative thoughts. And if they were on public display for everybody to see, good luck getting along in life. You usually just keep your mouth zipped and try not to get angry at too many people. So, I don't know. For me, I'd have to share my history, I think. I would share my browsing history.
This is a toughie. I think in either one of these scenarios, I would never be allowed in polite society ever again. Ever again. I think with the browsing history, not only have I looked at some pretty questionable stuff, sometimes out of just morbid curiosity, some real depraved stuff that I don't necessarily want anyone, let alone my close family or friends, knowing that I enjoy looking at. Not only like adult sort of depraved content, but also some of the political material and some of the circles I travel in, and that I don't necessarily want anyone knowing that that's something I write and contribute to and all that sort of stuff. I don't need any of that. I also think I would last about 30 seconds in my current line of employment if they could read what I was thinking. Like, it's impossible. You can't be done. There's no way to moderate your reactive sort of emotional thoughts yeah,
That's why they're in your head.
yeah, exactly. You're dealing with someone you hate. You feign sincerity, but on the TV, they're seeing a picture of someone like
Definitely, yeah.
and then setting the body on fire. Some real deranged sort of stuff.
The stuff that you were looking at on your
well,
browsing
exactly.
history.
I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I'm just saying that's the cold reality.
That's what you've got, yeah.
Of what's in there. It's not a good place.
Yeah, your browsing history is how to kill my boss, and the video history is
Actually
just you
happening.
killing your boss. It's double whammy.
Yeah, so I feel like the browsing history is easier to play off than something that's happening there in real time when someone's speaking to you and then seeing a graphic image of themselves being like disemboweled and then set on fire. Like that's no way to live.
Yeah.
You'd never have any sort of level of relationship with anybody ever again if they saw that.
Well, like, mind you, it could be then a positive. We're only looking at the negative thoughts.
I feel like there are only
there is a
negatives.
lot of negative, but I mean, you think about and this is a very, very stupid way to look at things. But you think about some of those guys that go out and they're like, they go with the real cheesy pickup lines, and they might throw 100 out in one night, but they only need to land one. And then they land that one chick and they get it. By the same sense, you could be going out there with thoughts about, she's beautiful or that, and then they know that. And if they're like, he's alright.
They wouldn't just know that, they'd know that in graphic detail. Like graphic
True.
detail.
Maybe they like that. Who knows? But it would be way to kind of when people click that have similar interests.
True.
Maybe you might give off a vibe.
I think if you could read everyone's thoughts, like if it was like a worldwide thing, every human had their thoughts like projected above them, like a little bubble. It would be interesting to see how society was, because everyone would then go out of their way or try to be like, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts.
Yeah, maybe it would make you.
And then when you'd be walking past, like, don't picture that person naked, don't picture that person naked. Like everyone's just got like puppies running around because they're just trying to like hide the the deep, instinct thoughts.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
So are we all thinking then to give your history?
Well, yeah, I don't like the idea of it. I see myself facing some very pointed questions if anyone close to me looked at my browsing history, but that seems better than, trying to get through life with everyone knowing exactly what I'm thinking and then watching it in graphic detail.
And were you?
I was, if everyone could read my current thoughts.
You'd rather people read your current thoughts?
I'd be happy for like a bubble or like a screen to be above my head and people would be like, oh, look at that dude, he's like thinking about that.
Yeah, so we've swung the majority this direction now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go for the third one then, see if I can't get the majority vote for 3 of 3.
Oh.
Do you like to take the final question?
This one's a cracker right here. All right. Would you rather always have to wear a headband on your head and pop your collar, or always wear flared pants that cover your feet and have the top 3 buttons of your shirt always open? I don't even know what to do with this one.
Yeah.
I think in the first instance with the headband and the pop collar, you're pretty much signing yourself up for an entire lifetime of people thinking quite justifiably that you're a complete wanker. There's no way around that. The second scenario, as much as I detest fashion from the 70s, you're trading pretty hard on the idea that 70s fashion might have eventually come back into style, which it may well. And so if that's the case, you're pretty well set up for it.
Yeah, that's
If it doesn't, then you're stuck looking like a reject from that movie Studio 34 that I saw years ago. 34? 34. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
54.
54, thank you. 4.
It was a 4.
It was a 4. Anyway.
Well, eventually it has to get back to the 70s.
Does it? Well, I mean...
it would be the 70s in a different century.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But eventually you could still be in the 70s, depending on how long you live, I suppose. But
I feel like I don't have the natural level of undeserved self-confidence that I would need to carry off a headband and or a pop collar. I just don't have that level of like unjustified self-confidence. So it wouldn't look right. So give me the flared pants and the top 3 buttons done up.
Well, for me, I'm thinking the headband, I sweat a lot. And it's something that when I'm thinking headband, although they're supposed to, like, I don't know if they're supposed to absorb sweat or what they do, but I think I sweat more when I've only ever worn headbands more of a joke when I'm doing some kind of skit or something.
Yeah.
And I find they actually make me feel like hot. I feel more sweaty in a headband. Or maybe they're doing their job, I don't know. Point is, that would bother me. Versus flared pants, I actually own a couple of pairs of flared pants. Not like crazy flared pants, but also a pair of jeans that flare at the base. I actually prefer when my pants cover, because I wear laced shoes. And I actually like to cover up the laces so I can't see them. So call it terrible fashion if you will, but I actually prefer to have slightly wider at the base. It's easier to get off too. So I actually like having the flared pants. The 3 buttons undone. I don't wear a tie or anything in general. So I just see that as I'm going to look like, I'm not a very hairy person. I've probably got a really pale chest. But I just see that as a way to just be more breathy. It's going to be great. Open up my buttons, breathe a bit more. Flared pants I'm already cool with. I'm going to have to lock in the flared pants and the buttons. Not to say that I'm currently doing that, but yeah.
You seem pretty happy with the idea.
I feel like this is kind of being tailored just for me, maybe? Nah. I like that though.
This one I really had to think about while you two discussed it. I think I would have to go wear a headband and pop my collar. Because I guess I never wore shirts with popped collars. I always kept the collar down, so I might as well see how the other half live. And yeah, and a headband I could work with. Because I have grown my hair long, so that may come in handy with holding my hair back. Even if it was like a towel, like terry toweling sort of fluoro tennis headband, like the tennis players wear, I can still use that.
So that's what I was thinking. How does a headband work? Do you have a hole like you can stick your?
Well, I think it's sort of like if you have your hair down, and I'm assuming the headband would like sit like this, sort of like around like that, just to stop your hair from coming into your face.
I picture it differently.
Because that's how I want to get. Because sometimes you see that in tennis, they've got the different styles.
Yeah. That's how I interpreted it. Or even if it was like just across the forehead, like kind of like bandana style.
Yeah, that was
it
what I
would
was thinking.
Still kind of act as a way of keeping the hair out of your face. So I would go with that. And yeah, pop my collar. I know it kind of has a lot of... there's a lot around that about the sort of person that rocks a popped up collar. But I guess I just have to deal with that. Mainly because I think 3 buttons undone, I think says a lot about like your confidence and stuff.
It's a lot of buttons.
True. It's a lot of buttons. There's potential nip slip there. And I don't think I have that kind of body confidence to show that much. Also, I think at least if it's cold, I also have the option to like at least I can have my buttons done up if it's cold. I feel like if it's cold and I have to have my 3 buttons undone, that would be quite annoying.
Very bold. Very bold.
Flared pants, I'm not much of a fan of either. I've had jeans in the past that have been boot cut, so they're kind of flared but not fully flared. And no, I don't like them. So yeah, I think based on that, headband, I think I could rock, and I think, I'd just look like one of those, I'd just look like any other like hipster dude with long hair. Like I should probably be a barista or something. And just the pop collar, I guess I would just have to deal with like the pain out that I would cop from that. I'll just deal with it. Yeah. Yeah,
fair enough. So, you guys both went with the headband?
No, I think you went flared pants.
The flared pants?
Yeah, I went with the quintessential 70s.
I've gone 3 for 3, I think, for the... Alright, well look, what do you guys think of that kind of fashion, or perhaps some of the other questions that we've asked today? Make sure you leave your comments in the section below. Make sure you subscribe. There should be a link somewhere, either that, the big red button, you click to subscribe. Otherwise, don't forget to head on over to the Facebook page. Make sure you like that. Ask questions. You might see that question come up here and have us answering it. And anyway, until next time, we'll catch you then.
So yeah.
Would you rather stay inside for all your life, or fly around the air 100 miles as a knife? wonder what it is that you would do. That's why I've got life's tough questions for you.